Frank Diefenbacher then showing us the way to throw a Seat around to get maximum speed out of it, but it was Hockenheim who was the fastest Seat and touring car driver in qualifying, ahead of Antonio Garcia. Andy Prio will line up third, Fabrizio Giovanardi fourth, the best Alfa Romeo. Diefenbacher himself in fifth with Dirk Muller alongside. Augusto Farfus with Gabriele Tarquini in an all-Alfa row 4, Kurt Mollikens and Jörg Muller, the man who currently trails Tarquini, the championship points leader, in second spot. Luca Rangoni, the best of the independents. But David Leslie, one of the great things Hockenheim has produced is a really mixed up field. Seat, BMW, Alfa Romeo, Seat, they're all over the place. There's really no dominant force here.
No, it's very different to what we've seen already this year with the three previous meetings we've had, whereby either BMW or Alfa Romeo have very much been on top and they've been in charge. But here this weekend, neither of those two manufacturers in charge. Seat is at the top of the pile, and Garcia with the Rivalia car having his best qualifying to date on the front row as well. So very much mixed up, and this will be, I would think, a very exciting race.
Beautiful weather conditions as the red lights go on. The Seat of Hockenheim, the first ever pole for Seat, but here comes Garcia and Andy Prio. The BMW sits back on its rear wheels and launches on the run into the first corner, and Garcia slips by, and one of the Mullers going very quickly as well. I'm sure that'll be Dirk Muller, right on behind the Seats of Hockenheim and Diefenbacher. He's got the Alphas behind him. There's a yellow flag, so somebody has not left the grid effectively. And the Alfa Romeo's right here with Augusto Farfus Jr. up the backside of Kurt Mollikens' BMW. That's the second RBM car racing Bart Mampai that runs the BMW GB car of Andy Prio, on board with Fabrizio Giovanardi. Seat's in front of us and a BMW between them. But the second set of Diefenbacher getting the run on Dirk Muller, and he's coming around the outside. Oh! Farfus and Kurt Mollikens. Farfus up in the air, broken left rear suspension. He collided with the other two Alfa Romeos as well. A real Alfa Romeo melee there, and they're both way down the order. Let's have a look and see what happens. Farfus at the back as well. Tarquini and the number 2 car of Giovanardi collided, and Farfus bounced over between the two of them. Kurt Mollikens left out there on the outside, nothing he could do about it.
It looked very much as though Farfus was one that came through from behind and created most of that on what we could see, but very difficult from that angle of the TV. That certainly made a mess of the Alfa contingent this weekend.
Certainly has. There is Giovanardi, but no sign of the championship points leader Tarquini. Off goes Roland Ash, chasing one of the 3 Oregon Alphas, and he might out-rally cross him into the corner. No, it's Sebastian Grunert, in fact, in 18. And wow, lap 1, and just look at the action already. I was expecting fireworks, but nothing quite this mental. So Antonio Garcia leads Andy Prio, then Diefenbacher, then Dirk Muller, then Hockenheim. Yellow flags at the first turn for Simon Harrison, I think, who didn't get past lap 1. On board, oh, braced for the impact, and around goes the number 2 machine, and he's the only one still running. So BMW with Seat, they are the leading cars as the Alphas conspire to pop themselves out of this frame. Garcia, Prio, Hockenheim, Dirk Muller, Diefenbacher, Jörg Muller. Then the 2 independents, Luca Rangoni and Salvatore Tavano in the Oregon team cars. But David, this is Seat versus BMW, not what we've come to expect so far.
No, so far we've very much had these red cars all over the front of every race that we've been to, and they're simply not there now. We've managed to take each other out. We had this at the very first race at Monza when Giovanardi and Tarquini had it coming together, and we said then the one thing you must not do is take a teammate out, and it looks like they've managed to take basically all 3 of them out. Certainly Farfus has gone no further. We haven't seen Giovanardi. We did see Tarquini going, but I know he was had been spun around, so we're not sure what damage he's done to his car. There we are. You can see there's actually 2 Alphas still running at this moment in time, but well down the field,
Alessandro Balzan battling with Alex Zanardi, and right behind him was the championship points leader, the reigning champion, as Diefenbacher hangs it out there in the dirt. Ricard Reidel, Hockenheim has gone by him, by the way. Ricard Reidel way back down the order. So Hockenheim, the pole sitter, in third place at the moment, has not finished a race in the podium position yet, but may do so as Antonio Garcia and Andy Prio battle for the lead. One two-time winner so far this season is Gabriele Tarquini, won round 1 and 3 at Monza and Valencia. And Andy Prio, of course, won last time out the second race at Magny-Cours in France in the reversed grid after grabbing a point for 8th place. And he's shaping up to pass Garcia. Shaping up in 4th place as well is Dirk Muller to try and get past Hockenheim. Frank Diefenbacher has regathered it all up to catch Dirk Muller. Dirk with 30 kilos of penalty ballast, as had Gabriele Tarquini. Jörg Muller in 6th with 40 kilos of ballast. Augusto Farfus, well, his 10 kilos of ballast may perhaps have led to that outbreaking manoeuvre, perhaps not. Here comes Prio down the inside, and the Briton who made his commentary booth debut last weekend obviously seems determined to pursue a racing career rather than have to sit alongside me again. Antonio Garcia side by side has the inside line here, but if Prio can hang on, it'll come back his way, and there's plenty of runoff for him here. David, oh, another great move down the inside.
And it looks like he's going to get it this time because he's still on the inside for the next one. And there he goes back the other way. That was a fantastic move. Andy did hang on round the outside just to try and stay there, and he made it only just braking very late. You can see the front wheel locking there as he went into that next left hand and getting that position into first. He looks as though Garcia has been holding him back a little bit. Garcia was at previous meetings holding some of these other guys back, so we'll see now if Andy can actually manage to stretch himself away from Garcia, and the rest of the crowd are having a fantastic fight just right behind.
So Andy Prio leads, Antonio Garcia second, Hockenheim in third place. We're midway through the action here at Hockenheim.
With LG, life's good.
Back live at Hockenheim, race 7 of the European Touring Car Championship, led by Andy Prio from Antonio Garcia and Poleman Hockenheim in the yellow-nosed Seat. 4th place, the number 43 machine of Dirk Muller, best of the Schnitzer BMWs. Don't forget, Jürgen Dirk lay 2nd and 3rd to Gabriele Tarquini coming in here as we ride on board with the 43 car. He knows that Tarquini is way back down the order somewhere and may not score any points, may not even finish the race, depending how bad the damage in that three-way Alpha battle. And look at Hockenheim, my God, he's been learning throwing it in sideways from watching Diefenbacher. Absolutely pitched it in under braking to try and get past Antonio Garcia. David, what a great effort.
He was, he just got it a little bit too late there, locked the back up and slid wide. Garcia managed to get himself back into that position of second. So Garcia still in second place, Genet still in third, and that will have done his rear tyres no good whatsoever. And you can see now 43, here's Dirk Muller.
But Garcia is gone. Garcia just hanging it out too far. So there was a change for second and third in the end. And Dirk Muller finds himself chasing second place as Hockenheim is hanging it out again in the gravel. We've already seen Diefenbacher using that line. Hockenheim obviously fancied a bit of it himself as they come into the stadium complex. Absolutely fantastic. And Diefenbacher's lap around the track earlier on in qualifying, in free practice, in fact, you saw how much the German driver lobs the car around the circuit, and clearly Hockenheim is unlearning all the finesse that took him up to Formula One and learning how to rocket the car around, because clearly that's how you get the pace out of these Seat Toledos, by really hurling it sideways at the corner in a Valentino Rossi style.
Yes, it is. That's how you get around these things. You have to carry the speed into the corner, and he's carrying a lot of speed into these corners to try and get around. But there he is, just losing that second place now to Dirk Muller. He's tried hard for a whole lap to stay in front of Dirk, and he just hasn't been able to do it at the end of the day. But he has been all over the curbs. He really has made that car work overtime to try and get it around, to hang on to that position. But there he is, he's not giving up. He's hanging right on the back of Dirk there, and you can see him trying to get the slipstream coming into this very tight first gear corner. We've seen that on the at the very beginning when Diefenbacher showed us round, down to first gear to get around this corner, and out you come, using all of the road, all of the curb, and every bit, some using even more than others, to get themselves around as quickly as possible.
Well, let's have a look again at Garcia, just losing it completely there, carrying far too much speed in, and really very strange incident, but Dirk Muller just keeping his nose in front. You can see out of the Opel curve hairpin that Hockenheim was actually almost pushing the BMW out of the corner in his insistence in trying to go a little quicker. Right behind, a similar battle, the second of the Schnitzer cars, there it is, that's Jörg Muller and Diefenbacher in the second Seat, and you can see he's damaged his nose spoiler from going through the gravel early on. So Schnitzer versus Seat, Schnitzer versus Seat. In front though, Andy Prio pulling away in the BMW GB effort. And he is just romping away from the field here. No success ballast on his car, despite that win last time out. Andy Prio winning the second race at Magny-Cours. So Prio going very strongly indeed. And no catching him. It'll take some mechanical failure in the BMW GB car, which I think I'm right in saying has not had one. Stefano D'Aste and Carl Rosenblad tangling there right in front of Alex Zanardi. And Jan Magnussen has just got away from those two in his battle up the order in the Peugeot. Also going extremely well here in Hockenheim.
With KW, the sports shock absorbers specialist.
Back live in Hockenheim, this is race one of the fourth round of the European Touring Car Championship, round 7 of the series. Andy Prio leading after 9 of the 11 laps. Dirk Muller in second, Hockenheim in third, Jörg Muller fourth, and Frank Diefenbacher we ride with, chasing him from 5th spot. So the Seats mixing it with the BMWs in place of the Alfa Romeos. All 3 Auto Delta Alphas tangled on the first lap. And here's the independence battle. Well, in amongst them is Antonio Garcia recovering from his spin, but it's Luca Rangoni and Salvatore Tavano in the Oregon Team Alphas, last year's Alpha 156s, as Diefenbacher gets the breaking point right at the Opel hairpin, that are leading the Independence Cup, and Tom Coronel, the best of the BMWs, with Jan Magnussen all over the back of him in the Peugeot 307 GTI. Well, there is Hane, the pole man, fought a great fight with Dirk Muller, couldn't quite hold on to him, so David Leslie managed to find the pace in qualifying. Look at the line that Dirk Muller's using there, all the road, plus a lot of runoff area and half the grandstand as well to get around.
Yeah, you can see that it's a fair bit into this race now, and these guys are still trying as hard now as they were in qualifying to get the best time and the best laps out of their cars. They're using every inch that's available to them, and a few more that's generally not available, to be perfectly honest. But every time you watch from an in-car, you can see them cutting the corners, and this coming up to the onto the last corner before the start and finish. Here we are around the last right-hander, coming on to start and finish.
Shot from Dirk Muller's car in the Sachs corner, showing that somebody had gone off on the run up to the stadium section. In the gravel trap, you could see across the wall a big cloud of dust. So further back, don't know who that was who's disappeared, but they will have been down somewhere 8th, 9th, 10th, maybe around that battle with Tom Coronel and the Independence Trophy. Now then, battle on the brakes with the Seat. I was going to say exactly why Hockenheim was still pushing hard, because Jörg Muller was right up behind him on that last lap, and now within sight of the flag almost, Jörg is making a bid to move up the order again and to push the Seats down out of the podium positions. Don't forget, Seat with 1 podium so far for Frank Diefenbacher. That was at Oschersleben last year. And Hockenheim has yet to finish on the podium, claimed the company's first pole in the European Touring Car Championship for this first race at Hockenheim, but has yet to finish on the podium. Diefenbacher getting it all wrong under braking there as well. Looks like his brakes have really gone away at the hairpin. And Hane hanging on from Jörg Muller.
Yeah, they've certainly managed to improve that Seat over the winter time. Last year they were a little bit down on power compared to the BMWs and Alfa Romeos, but obviously a lot of work done to that engine over the winter, and they're right there along with everybody else now on the power stakes. And they had certainly a good chassis last year, they just weren't able to use it not having the power, but this year they've got the power to match it, and this is terrific. At the moment he's heading for 3rd place. If he can just stay in front of Jörg Muller, who is, I must admit, carrying an extra 40 kilos, but certainly been able to use his car very well. He did say he had a very good handling car before the race started, and he wasn't too worried about starting down in 10th place. But here we have the leader coming through, and Andy Priaulx winning his second race, and it's his second race on the trot because he won the last race out last time.
Absolutely right. Right behind him in second position is the first of the Schnitzer BMWs, Dirk Müller, with Hockenheim just holding on ahead of Jürg Müller for that podium finish that he has wanted so badly. Carl Rosenblad still going there, and here is the 43 machine, Dirk Müller. But there is our race winner, and as you said, David, 2 on the bounce for Andy Priaulx. Last one in Magny-Cours, and the first one here in Hockenheim. 2 very different circuits, of course, 2 very different Grand Prix tracks. And pulling over is Dirk Müller in slow-mo. Very happy with that one, especially as he has got that 30 kilo weight penalty as well. Andy Priaulx weight free, and so doing a good job of running away from the field there. The BMW GB driver then winning comfortably, and that moves him from 5th place in the championship, where he was, up to 2nd place behind Dirk Müller, who now leads by a single point. So 42 points, 41 for Andy Priaulx, 40 for Jürg Müller and Gabriele Tarquini, and that's how many Tarquini had when he came here.
Yes, the Alfa Romeos didn't have a very good race there. That accident in the first lap, where all 3 Alphas were involved, Farfus retired immediately on the spot with a very bent and broken car, so it looks like they'll probably not get that ready for the next race. And Giovanardi and Tarquini carrying on for a little while, but both of them retiring into the pits. I think that is in order to give them time to repair the car before the start of the second race, and that will allow them to go out and try and score some points in the second race, rather than running around at the back as Tarquini was, languishing in about 14th place and not scoring anything.
So they have confirmation. Dirk Müller leads by a point from Andy Priaulx. A tie between last year's championship battlers, Tarquini the winner and Jürg Müller the runner-up. We'll be back with more in a moment.